we'll get started, and I imagine some folks will jump in. So my name's Sally Deckard, and you might hear one of my peers next door. We're in our cubes doing this. So, and I want to welcome you to a presentation on CHAMPS peer mentoring, innovating student support outside the classroom environment with Evan Gray. And Evan, I hand you the room.
Well, thank you, Sally. I appreciate it. I want to do a quick check here. I think I recognize most people here today. A couple I don't. So Diana, welcome. Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming. Tamara, I don't know that I recognize your name here. I do recognize the man, the myth, the legend, Jackie Kiger, James Bond, Michelle, Sharon, Stacy, Tiana, Justine. Thank you all for coming today. As I had my presentation ready to go, for this, for the TLC this year, I had one of those American President type moments last week. For those who have seen American President, at the end of the movie, the president at that time, Andrew Shepard, had a full address to the nation speech ready. Then some certain events happened and everything had to change. And so that's, a week ago or so, that's where we found ourselves. Myself, my team, and then others around the university found themselves in a place that we're all kind of pausing and looking around and trying to figure out the path forward. So, today, just want to say thank you for coming. I've rethought what I wanted to share here today a few different times, given the nature of where our program is at. But I feel very optimistic. And so today I'm going to touch on a few things, but really, hopefully today, what we get out of this is we get the wheels turning a little bit about, what is the future of our university, the way we support students, and what can we learn from the past? And so I think as I go through some of this information, there's a lot of encouraging things in that we don't have to reinvent the wheel in a lot of ways. We've learned a lot through the CHAMPS program over the last few years. So today we're going to go very quickly. I think most folks know about CHAMPS. If you're new to this group or you have not heard about the CHAMPS program, how we work or how we operate, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. I'd happy to connect with anybody individually, but we will briefly go over it today. I want to highlight some of the technology tools that we use for connecting. It's been instrumental for us. It will continue to have to be instrumental for our students at Ashford. I'm going to really pause and talk about the way our students have been leading our other students in the form of mentoring, how that's going to play into the first year college experience and what we can learn from that. I'll talk a little bit about what we've learned from the CHAMPS experience. And when I say the experience, one thing that's going to be very, very important that I hope everyone today gets out of this is, number one, how willing are you to be the part of a student story at Ashford? And how are you directly tied to their experience? We have a lot of information as a whole of our program that we love, we stand by, and I speak for myself and our team. We're extremely proud of the difference we've been able to make as a whole, but it ultimately comes down to individuals being willing to put in the time to care enough to be a part of a student success story at Ashford. And then ideally at the end, we'll talk a little bit about the journey ahead and get the wheels turning there. Before I get into CHAMPS, I wanted to start with this, and we are going to end with this. This is the list of the NACE Career Readiness Core Competencies. If you've been attending other TLC events and been paying attention to what Dr. Swenson has really touched on what the vision and what the future of our institution will look like, these are the core competencies listed. And I want to list these here for a reason, and so you can recognize, as I go through the information today, this is not a starting point that we have no idea what to do or how to do this. These areas, every single one of them, we have been working on in the CHAMPS program since its inception. Since the very first training I've ever done with mentors and mentees, we had a handful of people. I had no idea where we were going or how we were going to do this, but I knew students leading students was a positive and powerful thing. We have been doing these core competencies in CHAMPS for the last 4 years. We're going to continue to do these core competencies. Today, I'll show you and demonstrate how we do them. And my hope is that as we move forward together as a university, we're able to learn and take what we have learned from the CHAMPS program and incorporate that into our coursework, into our classrooms, and partner with our friends in academics. So CHAMPS at a glance. If you're new to CHAMPS or have not heard of this, our program before, we are Ashford's peer mentoring program. We connect our newer students to Ashford and continuing students with higher achieving upper divisions students and alumni to be able to help develop their leadership skills, their networking skills, those core competencies we talked about earlier. We have a number of different programs that I'll highlight today, but all of our programs are 7 milestone programs. So each milestone is unique. Typically, it takes our students about 7 to 10 weeks to complete each program, and our students now have an opportunity to take multiple programs and multiple tracks within CHAMPS, which is awesome. The learning outcomes that we have for our program, you'll be able to read here on the screen. We are going to rethink our learning outcomes. I have learned over the last week that authenticity is important. Being mindful and being very specific on what we're trying to achieve is important. So we will be adding a learning outcome to our program, and that is that for every student that comes into our program, that we are able to articulate and tell their story and tell the story of CHAMPS. We have thousands and thousands of stories that we have heard. I don't have to look any further than just my own team, who are comprised of current and former Ashford students, to know that their resiliency is something that we need to celebrate and that we need to learn about in order for us to effectively make it a positive experience for them. If we are able to do that, then their access to our learning programs, our academic programs, the writing center, the library, all those things that are the mechanics of school will come to fruition, but none of that happens without building positive relationships first. The individualized plans that we talked about, so we rolled these out earlier this year with really trying to be intentional with trying to understand, well, who are our students, what are their needs, and are we meeting them where they are at? So we have 3 undergraduate academic plans that we have for students. We have our Expand Your Support Community Plan, which is designed for our newer students to Ashford. Think about those college students that have no parents that have ever completed a college degree. Perhaps they have never taken any college classes whatsoever, but they have found themselves somewhere in their story to say, I want to have a college degree. This plan is designed for them. We do not overwhelm them with other tasks or things that feel like homework. It's really conversational. It's really an opportunity for our students to get engaged, make friends at Ashford, and develop in their own way. Our undergraduate academic preparedness plan is for our students that have some college experience. Perhaps they've taken some classes, but maybe it's 15 or 20 years ago. They have an understanding of how college works and that you take courses and there are academic services available to them, but really want to get a lay of the land at Ashford. Our third is designed for a more experienced student. We know through the growth of our FTG program and tuition benefits program that we have tons and tons of students that are here that have a lot of college experience. They have some college experience online, and perhaps they're in the sunset or the twilight of their college degree. They're here professionally, they're doing very well. They're looking to put a bow on their degree and move onward and upward in their career and professional endeavors. We also have graduate academic preparedness plans designed really for our students to understand that the academic rigor of being a grad student compared to an undergraduate student is vastly different. It's very heightened, and we want to make sure our graduate students are prepared for that. Another individualized plan we have is our military and career transitioning plan. We know and we love and we support our military students. We've had students in CHAMPS attend meetings, be a part of it from Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Guam, literally all over the world that are in the midst of those careers, but they're also forward thinking. They're in the twilight of perhaps their career in the military and looking to get in the civilian sector. And we know there are challenges that come with that. And so we have a plan specifically for them. And then lastly is our newest plan, our plan for our doctoral studies and academic preparedness plan. We know if as a doc student, there are 2 major hurdles. You go through all your coursework at Ashford, but then you have that daunting task of your dissertation and applied project. And so our mentors are there to support those students in all phases of the doctoral journey. The milestone overview, I'm not going to get into a lot of detail, but I do want to highlight that each of the milestones that we have remain the same throughout CHAMPS, but the specific activities, the specific conversations that we ask for our mentors and mentees does change over time. For example, we talk a lot about the Writing Center and our academic resources here, and we have partnered with them to make sure our information is always up to date. But the way students use the Writing Center can vary. So if you are in a basic undergraduate academic plan, we want to make sure that you know how to use the Writing Center, that you're actively using it to get feedback to develop those APA skills, formatting papers, and all those things that will help you over time. But for our career and professional development plan students, we want to make sure they know the Writing Center is available to help with a lot of other things as well. Resume review, understanding how to provide follow-up emails after you've interviewed for the process. So being able to use those tools that we have at Ashford to meet their specific needs becomes important. And that's really the design of our milestones and our overview for that. Our weekly process, I included this in here without trying to get too far into the minutia, is that our students expect real-time support and help. Over the 10 years of working at Ashford, it's one of the #1 things that I have found, and it's been a pain point for all of us, is that our students are not always readily available. Our students are not available from 8 to 5 or what our particular work schedules might be. When they need help, they want it. And we've really put a lot of emphasis on our own internal processes at CHAMPS to make sure that when students sign up for CHAMPS, as long as they are willing to attend orientation, move through the process, get their profiles updated and complete, that they are able to connect with a mentor within 1 week of signing up. We are proud of that. Our team works extremely hard. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment to get our students prepared. But understand, in CHAMPS, when students raise their hand and want to be a part of our program, we work very, very hard to put a qualified, awesome mentor in front of them within 1 week of them signing up. So our technology tools for connecting. Technology has been huge for us. There's 3 things I'm really going to highlight today. First one is starting with Chronos. So 2 years ago, July of 2017, we actually rolled out our mentoring software. Chronos has been an awesome home for us. When we first started the CHAMPS program, we were basically homeless on the street. CHAMPS consisted of a Word doc with some, looked more like a syllabus and an Excel sheet. And those that know me know I'm not an Excel wizard. So organizing our information, using Qualtrics for applications to get our program off of the ground and running was a challenge in its own right. And so we were very fortunate a couple of years ago to be able to bring in some technology for our students. What I want to highlight today is their use of our mobile app and being able to use the technology available to them to be a part of our school, get to know other students outside of the class. Our mobile use is something we're proud of, and want to just throw some statistics at you. And so for those that are wondering how much our students think about Ashford or think about school when they're not turning in assignments, the answer is they think about it a ton. So within CHAMPS, students have the opportunity to download the mobile app where they can access all their materials. They can create meetings, connect with one another. Chronos works directly with Zoom, and we encourage all of our participants to connect via Zoom to make the experience a lot more authentic. It's mobile optimized, and it does allow us to the opportunity to send out push notifications. So one thing we're extremely proud of is just the simple use that our students get out of the mobile technology. We had over 8,000 unique sign-ins and logins, 138,000 page views. So you can read the statistics, but understand our students use mobile technology. We have to use it to create the experience outside of the class, and we're proud of the work that we have in CHAMPS. The next thing I want to highlight really is our use of Zoom and our ability to create affinity groups within CHAMPS. Many of the staff members that are here at our presentation today, thank you for coming, have really stepped up to say, you know what, I want to lead. I understand the issues or the challenges that our students have, and at CHAMPS, we have created monthly calendars and monthly opportunities for our students to connect in addition to their one-on-one mentoring. So we use 2 main platforms. We use Zoom and we use Facebook Live. We have found that by providing these opportunities and during times where our students have the opportunity to do it outside of their normal workday and class schedule, that they have found opportunities to build relationships that has really helped them stay engaged in CHAMPS, build relationships, and overall has impacted their overall experience here. Without getting into too much detail, we have Q&A chats, we have Wellness Wednesdays through Facebook Live, we have study tip sessions for students, we have Zoom series engaging across generations to support those students that are young and old and everything in between that battle technology. We have a Parents Connect forum we're proud of our Ashford University students, and knowing that 2/3 of them are parents or have dependents at home, in ways that they can collaborate on time management and everything else in between really becomes important. And I just do want to take a minute to thank our staff. As I mentioned earlier, CHAMPS is comprised of current students and also our alumni that are leading the way. And they have taken control of these groups. They also do them during challenging times. The orientations I mentioned earlier, these study tip sessions, these are evening sessions. We have held hundreds of these sessions over the years, and they do so during times that really make their own families adjust. And I want to recognize that, appreciate that. But I have also found that when you are willing to do those things and go above and beyond to make yourself available, to build relationships with our students and be a part of their student experience, then progression and retention takes care of itself. It starts with relationships and it ends with relationships. And as an institution, the more we are able to provide these opportunities for our students to connect, engage with one another in meaningful manners where they can see each other, get to know one another, and become friends, you will see our progression and our retention continue to go on the rise. This leads me into my next section, students leading students. Student stories matter to us. What we have found in the CHAMPS program is that the opportunity that we have given to our students to become part of another student's story, and for our staff to become a part of a student story, the better their experience is. I have a quote here. We have thousands and thousands of quotes that I could pull through, but Patricia was a mentee of ours. She said, "CHAMPS has been so beneficial in my life. My mentor will be a lifelong friend, and I feel blessed to be able to include my mentor and the friends I have made in CHAMPS as a part of my Ashford story." I cannot sum it up any better. What you should be able to take away from this one quote is we have hundreds of these students that will share the same sentiment. And the challenge that we have now as an institution is to take what we've learned from the CHAMPS model and be able to apply that with all faculty and staff. How can we ensure that our faculty are a bigger part of the individual stories of our students? And how do we ensure that our staff are a part of the individual stories of our students as well? This is some of the alumni and staff that I was referring to. On the left, we have a picture of Sharon Jarman. She is a recent PhD graduate. And in the picture is Dr. Dallas. I included Dr. Dallas into this picture here for a specific reason. There's been a lot of talk about the transition that we have at Ashford and how things might be changing for the good. And I really feel that we have done a fantastic job of creating an army of peer mentors who volunteer their time. But through that, we have also found some faculty champions, and that is a huge opportunity as an institution to ingrain our faculty to be engaged in not only CHAMPS, but in the other areas that we're going to be moving into, to be a part of the student story and support. So folks like Angela Dallas, Jackie Kiger, Bill Davis, Katie Theory, and all the other faculty members who we've invited over and over and over again to the various events that we have and have presented at CHAMPS functions. Now's the time to pause and just say thank you. Thank you for being a part of that. Our students love it. Our staff appreciates it. And we are looking forward to taking what we've learned and counting on all of you that I mentioned to be champions for us and for our students, and encourage your peers to be more involved in activities outside of the class. We can't thank all of you enough. Some of these pictures, I wish I had a one group picture, but as time moves on, our staff changes, whether that's voluntarily or involuntarily. On the right, we have Michelle Ruiz, Samantha Simpson, and Larissa Armstead. All three are either current students or alumni at Ashford University. They are the best folks that we have at our institution when it comes to shaping the student experience. They have their own unique experiences of why they came to Ashford. And I guarantee you, if everybody that works at Ashford University cared about our students the way they do, worked as hard for our students the way they do, then our progression and retention, we would not have a progression and retention problem at Ashford. Our CHAMP staff, Tiana that's here, Stacy Stelly's that here, Jamie King, I think she is here, but she's got her own TLC presentations today. I will stand by the work that they do, their passion for students, the level of the care that they put in, the good old-fashioned hard work they put in next to anybody at our organization. And if anybody ever wants to have a conversation about it, I will show you the 100 orientations that Michelle Ruiz has done in the last year at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time on, considering she lived in Texas at the time. Show me somebody that's willing to work as hard as Michelle Ruiz does, who cares as much and is passionate enough, and I'll show you an awesome employee and somebody that cares about our students. That point I just made is something that I think is going to be important for all of us. We have to attack our work with passion and care to be a part of our students' story with each individual one. To give folks an idea of some of the numbers and the impact that we have on Champs, this is just information through July of last year. We've accepted over 1,000 new mentors in the program. We've worked with over 3,000 mentees. We've established over 2,500 new connections. We are coming up on nearly 1,000 net completers in our program. We are well over 1,000 in the lifetime of Ashford. At any given time, a current snapshot in time, we have about 800 students. I put this information in here for a reason, and that's because our students are dying to share their story with somebody else at Ashford. We have a saying in Champs that one of the main goals that we have is to get students off of online student island. It is really hard to be successful, to build relationships and be a part of something bigger than yourself when you do not have opportunities to do that, which are authentic and engaging and fun. We have our students want to be a part of these things, and the more opportunities we give them, the more successful they will be, and the more opportunities we have as staff and faculty to be a part of those individual stories. As I mentioned, our students want to be a part, they want us to be a part of their story. 5,425, that is the number of hours in the last year our mentors have put in to work with our mentees who have finished the program. That is a lowball number. That is just assuming that they're working about an hour per week with their mentee for those that finish the program. The cost that Ashford University incurred for that time is $0. That is all done by volunteer students at Ashford who raised their hand and said, I want to be a part of another student's story. I understand the struggles that they're going to have, and I want to help somebody else be successful. The other number that you see down there, 17,789. That is the number of responses from pre-assessments, post-assessments, and feedback surveys that our program has received in the last 2 years alone. That is a ton of information. That's too much information for me to share just today, but what I want you to take away from that is our students are dying to tell us their stories. They want us to be a part of their story. They want to develop, they want to be successful, and it's our job to meet that need. Not just in Champs, not just with peers, but with our faculty and our staff combined. Very briefly, the Champs experience, I know I'm running out of time, but we did a Wordle of all of those 17,000 survey responses that I mentioned here today. And these are the main programs that we got out. The words that speak out to me is I see students, very great, mentor, help, connect, talk, love, enjoy, they have found, face to face. All of these are words that sum up our program. I'm proud of Champs. I'm proud of what we've done, and I'm excited for the future and what we're able to do and demonstrate to the rest of the Ashford Learning community to tell our story and to help tell the stories of our students. This is just some information that includes some of what we have found over time at Ashford in the Champs program, but the main takeaway you need to understand is that our students that come to Champs, it does help the value of their education. It does help their experience, and it really comes down to relationships. We gave students an opportunity to build relationships with us, build relationships with others, and when you do that, when we have strong, positive relationships, then your overall experience becomes better. For those that are wondering about progression and retention, I know that's an issue. I'm going to just make one very brief statement so understand the value and the impact that mentoring has. And that after 22 weeks of attendance at Ashford, our students that completed Champs were 88% active compared to 75% of a comparison group. Our numbers speak for themselves. We have done a number of different analysis. We work closely with the Office of Institutional Effectiveness. If you give students an opportunity to connect, share their story, develop and learn through others, they will be successful. Finally, our journey ahead, and this will be my closing thought. Last week, Dr. Swenson made a couple of notes, regarding the changes that we have here. And he talked about placing a greater emphasis on the development and the durable, adaptable, and transferable competencies to design their skills gap. I'm really happy that he said those words, because as soon as he said them, I can think back of the years and the experience that we have in CHAMPS, and I feel proud that CHAMPS has been ahead of the curve. We have been working on these competencies for the last 4 years since we started CHAMPS. And it's my goal and my hope that we'll have further opportunities to provide input and be thought leaders for the university on how we're able to develop those skills, especially according to our NAES Career Readiness Score. Hopefully through some of this information today, I could talk a long time about it. I'm passionate about what we do. I'm proud of what we've done. As a reminder, these are the competencies we're looking towards. We're going to continue to work on these, and we're proud of the work we've done, and we're excited for the future. So with that, I know I'm getting cut off. It's like Academy Awards, pull it off.
I'll start singing some music here.
That's fine. I'm going to give me 2 more minutes. This is my
Go
final
for it.
slide. This is my challenge. This is my call to anybody that's here today, that anybody that might see a video in the future of this is, in my last 11 years of working at Ashford, we've done some really good things, but we have not figured out how to tip the scale in the right directions. This is our opportunity to continue to look at what we do, how we do, but understand that we do not have to reinvent the wheel. This is not rocket science. From my experience and the experience of our students at CHAMPS, if you give students the opportunity to build relationships with one another, build relationships with us, those core competencies that we looked at today will take care of themselves. We will interweave those things into our coursework in CHAMPS and any other initiative that we have, and we will be successful as a university. So thank you for that. And I think that wraps up my time for today.
Evan, I can't thank you enough for this presentation, but for what you've done. And as an associate faculty member, the wheels are turning. And I think I'll be giving a copy of this session to every one of the new faculty people that I work at in training. This gives me great hope for the future of our university if we really take advantage of this program. So thank you very much. And thank you all for attending, and enjoy the rest of your TLC.
Thank you all.